kind words for tremendous leadership as the Executive Director of Swords to Plowshares. For the last 36 years, for over 3 decades, Michael has been in the lead on something that is veterans helping veterans. It's a model for the nation. I've had the honor of working with him for several decades. Thank you, Philip. President Corrigan, it's great to be here at San Francisco State. I'm proud to be here and recognize that this is one of the nation's leading public urban universities. And under your leadership, it has that great distinction. Thank you, President Corrigan. San Francisco State University is nationally known as the college with a conscience, and the university demonstrates this in one way through its outreach to its veteran students. So many members of the student body have demonstrated this by serving our nation in uniform. One of them, Ron Dellums, went on to become the chairman of the Armed Services Committee in the Congress of the United States, and a day didn't go by that he didn't tell us how proud he was of his association with San Francisco State University. I'm just going to build a little bit on what Michael said. First, I want to recognize Raphael Garrett. Thank you, Raphael. Young Wynn, Ian Petrie, and Tara Smith. Aren't we proud of them? Experience not only enhance their education opportunity here, but is a resource to other students as well. Thank you for your service to our country. Thank you for continuing that here at San Francisco State University. Michael talked about the fact that the previous GI Bill had really not met the needs of the post-9/11 veterans, Iraq and Afghanistan and others in particular. What is, in the history of our country, our veterans, our World War I veterans, recognizing that their needs were not met. They marched on Washington, history will tell you. They were not treated fairly. So it was they, the World War I veterans, who said, we have to do better for the World War II veterans. And that's where the 1944 GI Bill, even before the war was over, at the leadership of the American Legion and other veteran service organizations, but the vets of World War I said, we've got to do a better job for the vets of World War II. The vets of World War II, Korean War, and especially the Vietnam War, saying that the current GI Bill, what had been the current GI Bill, what had become of it, was not adequate to the task for our veterans, what we call post-9/11 vets. And so we put together this GI Bill that for our students. Our theme in Washington, as we demonstrated in front of the Capitol to persuade Congress to pass the bill, and we were all part of the demonstration, was thank our veterans, send them to college. And many, many young people participated in those. At the same time, we were meeting with veteran service organizations in the Capitol on a regular basis to establish priorities to help meet the needs of our returning vets. Michael Blecker has participated, as you know, that setting, and it makes me so proud because Swords to Plowshares is a model to the nation. It just gives another arena for him to demonstrate that leadership. And yesterday I had the opportunity to speak in Milwaukee to the American Legion's 92nd annual convention about the commitment of Congress to those who have served our nation when they are abroad. In 2005, these veteran service organizations came to me when I became the House Democratic leader. And we were not yet in the majority. But what we did was plant a flag for our veterans. Plant a flag for their educational opportunities, plant a flag for their health benefits, plant a flag for their needs in terms of jobs when they come home. In every category you can name, whether it's reimbursement for travel to clinics or hospitals, everything that affected their lives. Survivor benefits, something that some of you may be familiar with, concurrent receipt of Veterans Disability Tax, whatever it was, there were so many issues, we said we must prioritize them. And this GI Bill for the 21st century for our post 9/11 vets was one of the priorities. Another priority is something called advanced funding, and I'll get to that in a moment. But I just want to say about this GI Bill, we're really proud that several 100,000 students have already taken advantage of it. Several 100,000 students. One of the arguments in the debate was, if you do this, people won't sign up again. They'll go to college. And we said, well, that's their right to do, and it's going to deter re-upping. So what we did there was we said, we want, if you think that that's a deterrent and you think that we should therefore not pass the bill, how about if we do it this way? The individual can use it, or it can be transferable to a family member. But we want the family to have the opportunity. I'll tell you another step we took in just a moment, but not before saying that this GI Bill built on other accomplishments that were part of that discussion when we planted the flag and what we have done. We've ensured advanced appropriations for the VA. President Corrigan, if you know your budget well in advance, it makes a big difference. So this was historic. We made a promise that when we got the power, we would do this. And we honored it, and they said, this is remarkable. Passing the largest increase in veterans' health funding in history, in the history of the Veterans Administration, making investments to deliver care where veterans live, and more than quadrupling the travel reimbursement, including billions of dollars in investments in the Recovery Act specifically for veterans. The Recovery Act, the first bill that we passed for the recovery, to provide jobs, tax cuts, and quality of life improvements for our troops, our veterans, and to reduce claims backlog, which is something that's still a challenge to us, but we've made progress. And providing more than $13 billion, and this is the newest one, $13 billion in disability compensation for those suffering from the after effects of Agent Orange. Very important. Never fully repay the sacrifice of those who've lost a loved one or lost their health serving our country, or even the time away from family. For those who have answered America's call to duty, there are no makeup days for missed birthdays, anniversaries, graduations. We honor our troops by never forgetting their families. Nearly 2 million children of Americans in uniform 2 million children have at least one parent serving in the military, away from home, and 1 million children have seen a parent leave for deployments more than one time. So we have an enormous responsibility to those families. I want to just tell you this story, because this goes beyond the bill. The education, the opportunity for young people in the military, and not so young people, to serve, to come home and go to college, or transferable to their family. But there was one piece that was still missing that we corrected. And I'd like to tell you the story about Marine Gunnery Sergeant John David Fry. Gunnery Sergeant Fry was a father of 3, serving in Anbar Province. After suffering a serious hand injury, he was offered the opportunity to go home with a Bronze Star. He said no, he wanted to stay. He volunteered to stay and serve. He wanted to stay and protect his fellow Marines. We hear that all the time. John Fry defused around 100 bombs, but the last one took his life. The last bomb took his life. The now we named the bill, the Marine Gunnery Sergeant John David Fry Scholarship, passed by Congress, promises that children of those killed in the line of duty since September 10th, 2001 will receive the GI benefits their parents earn. See, before, it was just a veteran, then we made it transferable to a family member, but it left out those who had died. It just has the way it had been over time. And now we have brought it up to date. John David Fry's 3 children will now be able to go to college because of their father's service and sacrifice. And so will the children of others who have lost their lives in that. When I spoke to the American Legion yesterday, Michael, you'll be happy to know that they greeted my comments with great applause when I said our work is not done, it won't be done, until there are no homeless veterans in the street, on the streets of America. Very important. Our work will not be done until we address some of the issues like survivor benefits and the backlog and the rest completely. But our work will not be done unless we can build a future worthy of the sacrifice of these troops when they come home, and that means having jobs for them to come home to. So a very important other initiative that we have is what we call our Make It in America initiative. Make it in America, yes, manufacture it in America. Enabling people to make it in America. And the Make It in America says that we must stop the erosion of our industrial, technological, and manufacturing base. We will come to a point if we don't stop that erosion where we won't even be able to supply our troops with what they need to protect our country. This is a national security issue as well as an economic issue. We also know that reducing our dependence on foreign oil is a national security issue. So a place that we can go is to rebuild the infrastructure of America, to strengthen our industrial base, our manufacturing, civilian industrial base, and also to create new green, clean energy jobs and have our veterans be part of that wonderful revolution in the economy of our country, for them to take the lead. So we have a path. We have a path, and we must succeed with the legislation to make that happen. So we want all of our veterans and all of the American people whom they're there to protect to be able to make it in America. And those jobs, as we know, are part of our responsibility to our veterans. Again, we know we can never repay their sacrifice, but we can and we must honor their patriotism, their courage, the sacrifices they and their families are willing to make for our country. Because of you, we are the land of the free and the home of the brave. Just as our troops on the battlefield pledge to leave no soldier behind, we say, and when they come home, we will leave no veteran behind. So as we have a week when many of us are focusing on veterans issues, we like to say in Congress that every day is Veterans Day for us, to honor our planting of the flag, more importantly, to honor the service, the sacrifice, and the courage of our veterans. God bless our veterans. God has blessed America with their service, and we all bless our great country, the United States of America. Thank you all very much.